everyone and welcome to another compact tuning guide for Forza Horizon 5. In today's video I'll be taking a closer look at a 2022 Volkswagen Golf 8R, which is equipped with a manual transmission. Before we dive into the tuning details, let me preface this by saying I'm not the biggest fan of Golf or VW in general, so I do my best to provide an unbiased evaluation of the car. I also want to point out that using the Golf R instead of the GTI for this pack wasn't the best choice, as the GTI has more history and is better compared to other cars like the Veloster N, Megane RS, Honda Civic Type R and so on. Secondly, I would have preferred the DSG transmission in this case, since VW is well known for it. Whether it's due to the excellent engineering or the quirky DSG farts, I can't say. But enough about personal preferences, let's focus on how the Golf performs in FH5 on my test track. Given it's an FWD based AWD car, it's prone to understeer, which is typical for both the drivetrain and the brand. I'm not a fan of it, but it's acceptable. The car does have moments of oversteer depending on factors like slope, corner type and speed. The power output is decent, especially up to the red line in 4th gear. However, the last 2 gears are only effective when going downhill. Because it doesn't accelerate to high speeds swiftly, decelerating from those speeds isn't great either. The brakes are subnormal, even worse than the BMW iX, which was already a big disappointment. Sound is another area where this car falls short. While there are fantastic sounding 4-cylinder engines, they are typically flat engines. This is why I would have preferred the 7-speed DSG, which could have provided those satisfying exhaust farts. In summary, the stock Golf R is decent for its stock PI, but it's far from special. There are other cars in the same PI range that are either better, more fun or both, like the Megane RS250, 2009 Ford Focus RS or BMW E36 M3. Now that we've discussed the stock car, let's move on to the tuning section. In the meanwhile, I'll leave you alone with the stock sound of the Golf. Let's get started with this tuning. The first order of business is to swap out the Golf's engine. Thankfully we can do a conversion and I've opted for the 2.5 liter 5-cylinder engine, which I believe is from Audi. Once that's in place, I'm skipping the aerodynamics section because the only option available is the Forza aero, which, as you all know, doesn't look great. Next, we'll upgrade the tire compound to semi-slicks to compensate for the missing aero, and we also need to widen the tires. I've gone with 255s, which I think works well for the PI of 800, but 275s would have been necessary for an extreme S1 build. Replacing the heavy stock rims is essential. Not do I only not like them, but they also add a lot of weight. To shed even more pounds, I've chosen the Warsteiner VFN 501 rims, which make a significant difference. We adjust the track width and upgrade the drivetrain components to optimize performance. The braking system needs an upgrade, as I've previously pointed out this weakness. We'll also install a race suspension and race anti-roll bars because the stock Golf is a bit too comfortable. To improve torsion stiffness, I've added a sport chassis reinforcement. While this adds up about 40 kilograms to the car, it's worth it because we are compensating for the extra weight with other upgrades such as sport weight reduction. By upgrading engine parts like the exhaust and air intake, I've managed to shed nearly 150 kilograms of the weight while adding over 100 horsepower and nearly 150 Nm of torque. The initial upgrades look very promising, but to see how the Golf 8R performs, stay tuned for the fine-tuning details and the share code. You'll be able to use this tune for yourself. Now let's move on to section 3, the tuned run. How does the VW perform now compared to the stock setup? It's a completely different car. The entire handling has transformed and it's unlike any other vehicle. The new geometry makes the car incredibly responsive and agile, especially in tight corners, which you'll frequently encounter in the narrow streets of Guanajuato. The car just turns so well, a characteristic you'd usually associate with vehicles sporting upgraded splitters and wings. I was genuinely surprised because I wasn't expecting this at all. The braking performance is also on another level. You can steer the car into a corner with impressive precision for a hatchback. The sound and acceleration have also significantly improved, although I had higher expectations. With 430 horsepower and a weight of 1,412 kilograms, the car reaches a top speed of 293 kph, which is only 23 kph faster than in stock conditions. After finishing the main part of the video, I maxed out every upgrade, and the result was a weight of just 1,250 kilograms and a peak power of 875 horsepower. The VMAX reached out at 380 kph, which is quite exhilarating in a car of this type. In conclusion, I wouldn't recommend the Golf 8R in its stock conditions or for B-class races. But with my setup, I find it fun and surprisingly competitive. It's even faster than a G87 M2 or G80 M3, which is surprising but understandable upon closer inspection. It's much lighter and has all-wheel drive, a significant advantage for cornering when compared to the rear-wheel driven counterparts from Munich. It's a bit disheartening for me as a BMW enthusiast, but it's certainly well deserved. Considering the A-class handling of the Golf 8R and the exceptional performance of the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS, I say it again, consider getting this DLC. It's definitely worth it. Also worth considering is liking this video and subscribing to my channel, just in case you are enjoying the content I'm creating. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep those lanes narrow and your eyes on the road.